Canada needs nurses. Right now, there are about 23,000 job openings for nurses across the country. It's a huge number, and it's jumped dramatically over the past few years. So we thought we'd take a closer look at what it takes to become a nurse in Canada. We have a lot of questions and just the person to answer them. That would be Nurse Jake, who is back with us this morning to share some nursing knowledge. That was hard to say.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so Jake, let's go first to the school experience. What is that like?
Yeah, so there's two predominant types of nurses in Canada. So there's RPNs or LPNs, depending on the province you're in, and those are licensed practical nurses or registered practical nurses. And this is a college diploma program 2 years after post-secondary. And then the second type of nurses are RNs, which are registered nurses, and this is 4 years of university. And regardless of what stream you take, you have to do a licensing exam. It's really tough at the end. And then this gets you licensed as a nurse, and then you have to register to your regulatory body in your province because nursing is a regulated health profession.
And then from there, like with any other program of study, you could go on, like my mom went on to do her master's of nursing. People do the further study if you want to achieve kind of higher goals in your career.
Yeah, master's, PhD, doctorates, yeah, tons of other options.
Yeah, so nursing is one of those things where you go and you're not just done when you finish your school because there are so many different ways to specialize. What are some of the options out there?
Yeah, there's so many options for nursing, which is what I love. It's so flexible. I think when we think of nurses, we think of like our frontline heroes who are in the hospital. So the ICU, the emerge, the OR, medicine, surgical units, but there's so much more to nursing. And some of those specialty areas require a little bit more schooling, usually like a 3-month college program. But there's nurses in the community. There's nurses who go into home care. There's cosmetic nurses who do your Botox, your injections, your fillers. Some of the jobs that I love for nurses, there's forensic nursing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then there's a thing called the Mobile Crisis Intervention Team, which are nurses who go with specially trained police officers into the community, and they respond to like mental health crises in the community. And then, like you said, if you go to graduate school, you can become a nurse practitioner, a clinical nurse specialist. There's healthcare executives, there's researchers, academia. So it's literally like endless. There's so many options.
There really are.
Yeah.
Like the world is your oyster
Yeah,
when it comes to...
it's not just your typical bedside nursing that people think about.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So personality-wise, what would you say if you are a person at home listening, what would you describe are the best kind of characteristics that go with nursing?
Yeah, you have to have like a thick skin. It is a difficult career, but more important to that, I'd say you'd have to have a lot of compassion and empathy, having respect for people with where they are in their life and some of their life choices if they're different than your own. Patience is very important, having very strong communication skills and critical thinking. And there's a huge component of having like cultural competency and cultural sensitivity. And then obviously being a team player. We work on an interprofessional team. There's doctors, physicians, health disciplines like OT, PT, RT, all these other people that you work with in whatever setting that you're in.
I also feel like when it comes to healthcare, problem solving is such a huge attribute that someone should have because often it's like a puzzle. You're trying to figure out what is going on.
Yeah, that was the word. You just pulled it right out of my mouth. Is like the human body is this huge puzzle. So being able to interpret lab results and know what that means in terms of what's going on with an illness. So that critical thinking piece is really important, and you learn that through your schooling. So we're taught that, we're trained it in our placements, going into the hospitals, you get that experience.
Jake, you've been through the system. You've worked as a nurse in different environments. Knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time to yourself, kind of day one of nursing school, is there advice that you wish you would have received?
I love this question. When I was in nursing school over 16 years ago, the one thing that wasn't really taught was just that, you know, mental health well-being for yourself as a frontline worker, as a healthcare professional. So really focusing on the fact that you're gonna see some really hard things, some difficult things. You're working with patients and families at the most vulnerable stages of their life. But then that said, you also see really rewarding and great things, you know, babies being born, you know, all that stuff. So really focusing on that work-life balance, knowing what resources are available to you as to not burn out.
Yeah, I think especially when you describe the type of person who would be a good nurse, that's like an empath, I'm hearing a little bit.
Yes.
You can take a lot of that on and you don't have to carry that burden alone.
No.
No.
Exactly, yeah.
Jake, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Coming up after. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.